Super Lutein Plus is the newest breakthrough product to be launched here in the United States by Naturally Plus. It contains the active ingredients lutein and mirtogenol, along with a daily dose of natural carotenoids. So during Festa America, I had the opportunity to sit down with Dr. Jeffrey Michael Strong, a foremost expert on the research of mirtogenol. For the next hour, we talked about what exactly mirtogenol is and the benefits of taking it as a health supplement. Welcome. Today we will be speaking with Dr. Jeffrey Michael Strong of Horfag Research. He will be covering the power and science behind mirtogenol. Dr. Jeffrey Strong?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Seattle, born in 1972, and I did all my education in Seattle. And I did my naturopathic doctorate degree from Bastier's University in Kenmore. And I've maintained my naturopathic physician's license in the state of Washington since 2003. And for the last 15 years, however, I have been living and working in Japan and work for a Swiss company called Horfag Research, which is the producer of natural plant extracts, particularly pycnogenol, which is one of the two main ingredients in the mirtogenol formulation.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain the difference between a naturopathic doctor and a medical doctor?
Sure. Very good question as well. A naturopathic doctor and medical doctor in the United States is basically the difference is education. Philosophy is very similar, in that you're trying to treat patients and do no harm or as little harm as possible to patients in the process of treating them. But with naturopathic medication, the philosophy differs in that it's much more choosing the natural route and what you might call much more softer inroads to treatment to start off with. And in the case of naturopathic medicine, naturopathic doctors are trained at, say, the education system at like Bastyr University. When I was there was 4 years of postgraduate medical school education, and the 4-year program was quite intense with more than 30 credits a quarter. So it's typically a 5-year program there for the postgraduate course. And all of the first 2 years are exactly the same as allopathic medical school or traditional medical doctor. With the anatomy, biology, biochemistry, all of that is the same in the number of hours. Where naturopathic differs from allopathic medical school education is that we do study pharmacology, but we studied 1 year of medical nutrition, whereas a typical allopathic medical education is only 1 quarter. So, it's like 4 times the amount of medical nutrition education. And we have a whole year of botanical medicine education, as well as other treatment modalities such as physical medicine, as well as homeopathy is also studied in naturopathic medical school. So those are the main treatment modalities. They're much more natural, and of course diet and lifestyle is the basis for treatment in naturopathic medicine. And the basis for treatment in allopathic medical school, well, basically, a properly trained medical doctor should say that diet and lifestyle is the basis, the starting point for any treatment. But quite often pharmaceuticals are the first step that they will go for. And so that's a big difference. The pharmaceutical and surgery on the medical side, medical doctors, traditional medical doctors, and then naturopathic physicians are focusing much more diet, lifestyle, and softer medical treatments such as nutritional medicine, botanical medicine, in some cases homeopathy. So those are the main differences.
Great. So how did the discovery of mirtogenol come about?
Well, the discovery for mirtogenol came about because we work very closely with the Italian company Indena, who produces a unique bilberry extract called Myrto Select. And both Pycnogenol and Myrto Select have a lot of research behind them. And both had research for eye health, for conditions such as diabetic retinopathy in particular, some research related to cataract prevention, and even some research that would indicate it would be beneficial for AMD. However, both, or I should say neither, Myrto Select or Pycnogenol had any data related to helping to promote a healthy eye pressure and helping to potentially prevent the condition of glaucoma. And glaucoma is actually the #2 cause of blindness in the world. And so there's a big need to have something more preventative as a health food that could help people who are at higher risk for developing glaucoma. And so in our discussions between our scientific team and their scientific team, we thought of trying to work with a combination and just see what benefit we might see. And after many years of research, trial and error, we found a combination, a ratio of the mix that worked well. And we saw what we had never seen before between the two individual ingredients, which was that the combination helped to promote a healthy eye pressure, or intraocular pressure as they call it. And it was much more significant than we expected it to be in the clinical trials. And so since then, since the first clinical trial was published in 2008, there have been 2 others that have been published. Most recently, the third one was published just last year about myrtogenol and decreasing eye pressure, and also its safety and benefit for use in combination with eye drop, eye pressure lowering medications. So it was safe, and it helped to improve the treatment result with those. So that's how myrtogenol got developed. And since then, since 2008, it really started getting launched on the market worldwide, and in Italy and other countries in Europe, of course, it's being used. Italy, it's referred to by physicians. It is a health food supplement, but it's referred to by physicians there. And particularly in Asia, you see a lot of different companies, pharmaceutical companies as well, who market myrtogenol. And then here in the United States, too, you can find some representations of it.
That's great to know.
So let me tell you now a little bit about the 2 ingredients that make up the myrtogenol combination. So first we have Pycnogenol, which is a unique extract from the French maritime pine tree. This is a special species of tree that only grows in the southwest corner of France along the Atlantic coast. The trees are allowed to grow for 30 to 50 years before they are harvested. The bark, once it is removed, within 24 hours, the extraction process begins so that we can make the freshest extract possible. The extraction process itself is a patent-protected process. The bark is extracted using a unique ratio of ethanol and water. Of course, times and pressures are also involved in a unique manner to produce Pycnogenol that basically cannot be copied by any other manufacturer. Now, part of the extraction process is that Pycnogenol is a 1,000 to 1 extract. What does that mean? That means in order to produce 1 kilogram of Pycnogenol, you need 1,000 kilograms or 1 ton of bark just to produce 1 kilogram of Pycnogenol. So it's very highly concentrated, and it's a very labor-intensive process to produce Pycnogenol. Pycnogenol today is sold in more than 80 countries worldwide, predominantly as a health food ingredient, as it is here in the United States. However, there are still more than 10 countries in the world where Pycnogenol is used as a pharmaceutical ingredient, mainly for the treatment of cardiovascular conditions and for reducing swelling and edema, promoting vascular health. Pycnogenol was originally developed in the 1960s to be a pharmaceutical ingredient and sold as a pharmaceutical for over 20 years before the laws changed and natural plant extracts were, as long as they had good safety information, could then be allowed to be used as health food ingredients. And therefore, Pycnogenol today is used as a health food ingredient in most countries. Myrto Select is a very similar history to pycnogenol in that it was developed in the late 60s and first entered the market in 1970 as a pharmaceutical product for the treatment of eye conditions. And Myrto Select was developed by Indina, the Italian pharmaceutical and health food company. And today, just like pycnogenol, Myrto Select is sold in numerous countries around the world, predominantly as a health food ingredient, but there are still some countries today where Myrto Select is sold as a pharmaceutical ingredient. And Myrto Select, the production here again is a unique extraction process. Indina, in the production and processing of the bilberry extract, they have more than 150 patents related to this. So they are definitely the top bilberry extract producer in the world. And these two combined together produce the myrtogenol extract, which has the amazing benefits of helping to maintain healthy eye pressure, along with the other promotion of eye health, and reduce the risk of all 4 of the main causes of blindness.
Please, you touched up on glaucoma. Can you touch up also on other eye diseases that myrtogenol can help with?
Sure. Well, particularly since myrtogenol is a combination of pycnogenol and Myrto Select together, both Myrto Select and pycnogenol by themselves have a history of being used as pharmaceutical products, as drugs, for the treatment of diabetic retinopathy. So in the case of pycnogenol, there's more than 1,000 patients worth of data and multiple clinical trials and the double-blind placebo-controlled trials that really show that taking pycnogenol can help to strengthen the blood vessels in the eye and improve the blood flow, and this can help to stop the progression or slow down the progression of the disease. So therefore, both of these have been used as drugs for the treatment of diabetic retinopathy. But then there's other research related to other eye conditions, particularly for cataract. These are preclinical trials, but they show that the use of pycnogenol in particular can help to decrease the risk of developing cataract. And the more recent research related to age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, they're finding now that it's not just the antioxidant component that's most important for prevention of AMD. That is important. But then there's also the vascular side and protecting the blood vessels and blood flow, supplying the macular tissue. And so pycnogenol and Myrto Select do a great job in supporting the blood vessels and blood flow in the eye. And therefore, while we still need to do more investigation with this, it could very well be that they could be supportive in helping to prevent or decrease the risk of AMD, particularly the vascular type.
When you talk about AMD, that's age-related?
Age-related macular degeneration. Right. Yeah, the number one treatment for that, nutritional treatment, would be lutein and zeaxanthin, the carotenoids. But they work mainly because they're protecting the macular tissue, accumulates in the eye right above the macula, and cuts the blue light that comes in and has a very strong antioxidant protection as well. So a deficiency of lutein significantly increases the risk of AMD. So
with the combination of lutein and myrtogenol, it makes it a very powerful...
Exactly, and that's so you can see this, and the combination of lutein, which is a very powerful fat-soluble antioxidant and accumulates in the eye, whereas myrtogenol contains very powerful natural plant extracts that are very powerful water-soluble antioxidants. So you have the combination of the fat-soluble, water-soluble antioxidants together, and they have a synergy with this combination. So in other words, instead of like 1 + 1 = 2, you're getting an effect like 1 + 1 = 4, or something like that, with the combination of these antioxidants in the eye, or the whole body for that matter, but yes, in the eye as well. Okay, well, I do want to discuss a little bit more about eye health in America, since that's what we're talking about here. There is an increasing rate of these eye conditions, all these 4 main conditions that lead to blindness, namely AMD, cataract, diabetic retinopathy, and glaucoma. Now, number 1 eye disease in the United States, as it is worldwide, is cataract. And this has mainly to do with the UV exposure and damage through oxidation of the lens of the eye, which results in the crystallization of the proteins in the eye. And these crystals basically get so big that you can't see anymore. Then the number 2 leading cause of blindness, actually worldwide, is glaucoma. And this has to do, again, with most of the time, 90% of patients have high eye pressure in the eye, and this actually puts pressure on the optic nerve and will kill the optic nerve. The other conditions would be diabetic retinopathy, which is more a condition of the blood vessels of the retinal tissue, becoming blood flow becoming very poor, blood vessels becoming brittle and leaking. And so you have loss of the retinal tissue. And then the last one is AMD, and age-related macular degeneration. And this is a specific tissue in the retina called the macula. And this contains the highest concentration of the light receptors in the eye, and so is the most important for vision. But what happens here is that it has high levels of oxidative stress. And this can cause damage over time and eventually results in the death of the tissue and blindness as well. Now, what's important to know about all of these 4 main causes of blindness is that they're silent thieves of sight, as they call them, because they basically don't have many symptoms. And that's the scary thing about these eye conditions is, by the time you recognize that you have a condition, then it may be too late, and whatever vision loss you may have, it's in virtually almost all cases impossible to get back currently. So with any eye disease, prevention is key, and that's particularly what Mirtogenol is designed for, to help prevent all 4 of these major causes of blindness. And particularly related to glaucoma, which before the development of Mirtogenol, there was nothing to help prevent glaucoma as far as a clinically proven health food combination. And the rate of increase of the projection for the rate of increase in the cases of glaucoma in the United States is expected to go up more than double in the next 20 years. So there is a very big need to help reduce the risk of particularly glaucoma here in the United States. But all of these eye conditions are increasing, particularly as the rate of aging in the population increases. You're seeing a lot more patients with these various eye conditions.
In addition to that, I believe Mirtogenol will help with the negative effects of blue light. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, well, the negative effects of blue light are actually more on lutein, because the Mirtogenol does not really have an effect on the blue light, but it does reduce oxidative stress, which can be caused by blue light in the eye. As blue light in the human's visual wavelength spectrum of what we can see as far as color, blue light is the highest energy. And so light, of course, goes straight into your eye, to the back of your eye, to all the tissues there. And this blue light can actually cause or promote more free radicals in the eye. And so that's a problem, because this, over time, as we age, our body's natural antioxidant defenses go down, beginning from our 20s, basically. And so then this damage starts to accumulate with the more free radical stress you have in your eyes. And so therefore it's very important to boost the free radical protection from both fat-soluble and water-soluble antioxidants. So lutein is number 1 in the eye for its protection right above the macula. But then you see phenomenal synergistic effects with the combination of lutein and water-soluble antioxidants like pycnogenol, which is in Mirtogenol, of course. And so then that can help to reduce the negative effects of blue light and the free radical stress that can be caused by that.
Can you talk a little bit more about the antioxidative effects that mirtazanol has?
Sure. Well, both Myrto-Select and pycnogenol, they contain polyphenol compounds as their main active ingredients. And these polyphenol compounds have a very powerful antioxidant effect. And this has been shown in numerous studies. Pycnogenol still today has the nickname of being a super antioxidant. It's one of those superfoods. And there are a lot of superfoods that come out all the time, but again and again, pycnogenol is among the top as far as antioxidant potential. And furthermore, there's a lot of evidence that shows that pycnogenol, even taken in lower doses, significantly boosts the antioxidant defenses inside the body. There's clinical evidence to support that. Not just ORAC, which is commonly done in a petri dish with cells, but actually these are human beings who take it, and you can see the antioxidant potential of their blood increase significantly. So we know it works. So yeah, as far as antioxidants go, this combination is a combination of two very powerful water-soluble antioxidants, which makes fabulous sense for protecting the eye.
Can you talk a little bit more about diabetic retinopathy? Yes.
Sure. Well, diabetic retinopathy, and there are other types of retinopathy that can occur, but the most common type is diabetic retinopathy. And basically, this is a condition where the blood vessels in the eye grow weak over time. And then you have leakage from the blood vessels into the retinal tissue, leakage of blood and serum into the tissue. Sometimes fatty deposits will develop in the retinal tissue. And basically, over time, the blood supply to the retinal tissue becomes compromised. And when that happens, of course, the retinal tissue begins to die. And so in the case of diabetic retinopathy, you will start losing vision in different splotchy areas around your field of vision. And that's a sign of diabetic retinopathy. It's like a shadow in certain areas. And while it is an eye condition, basically it's a condition of the blood vessels. In the case of diabetes, you have long-term diabetes where you have the blood sugar is too high. Blood sugar will bind to the proteins in the wall of the blood vessel, and this leads to inflammation inside of the blood vessel. And it's this inflammation that damages the blood vessel and causes the blood vessels to leak into the eye. The worst case is you have too much buildup of this sugar binding to the proteins in the blood vessel, that the blood vessel just gets plugged. And therefore, you have no blood flow going to tissues in the eye. So in diabetic retinopathy, what you want to do is you want to promote maximum blood flow, blood supply, and strengthen the blood vessels themselves. And pycnogenol in particular has a wealth of evidence to support its action here. Myrto-Select also has many studies supporting its use in diabetic retinopathy. So the combination helps to strengthen the blood vessels, improves the integrity of the blood vessels, decreases leakage and swelling in the eye. And at the same time, pycnogenol has been shown to stimulate nitric oxide production from the blood vessels. And nitric oxide, which is produced in the blood vessels, is vital for healthy blood vessel function. And what it does is basically it allows the blood vessels to expand and dilate properly. As we age, again, with the plaques that develop in the arteries, atherosclerosis, and high blood pressure and other factors, the blood vessels do not function as healthy as they should. So nitric oxide decreases, blood vessels constrict, you have less blood flow. This contributes to diabetic retinopathy and basically every eye condition. So the myrtogenol combination strengthens the blood vessels and allows them to dilate better, so maximizing the blood flow. So it's very good in diabetic retinopathy for that.
Many of the images used in this documentary are pulled from the book entitled The Secrets of Myrtogenol, a published interview with Dr. Jeffrey Michael Strong. You can purchase a copy of this book online by visiting the NPUSA Mall at npusamall.com.